Big thanks to Bizabizows and Shiny Catherine for this idea. Links to their channel in the description. 100 days of making a jingle for every FNAF animatronic. Day 73, Plush Babies. We're now entering the steel wool era of FNAF games. For the plush babies, they use music box like normal baby, and there are 3 lines playing to represent the 3 colors. I also used the melody from FNAF World during the circus maze since I think it just fit their vibe. Here it is. "100 days of making a jingle for every FNAF animatronic." Day 74. Grim Foxy. For Grim Foxy, I have accordion since he is a pirate, and fire sound effects since he is on fire. I also made the jingle fade in and out like he is getting further and closer since his game is in a maze, and he wanders. Here it is. "100 days of making a jingle for every FNAF animatronic." Day 75. Dreadbear. I got inspiration from Mad Monster Mansion from Banjo-Kazooie, and I tried to make it Halloween feeling with an organ. Here it is. "100 days of making a jingle for every FNAF animatronic." Day 76. Glitch Trap. For this jingle, I wanted to get a really glitchy effect, and I did that by making the main instrument have 0 release, so when it stopped playing it was instantly gone. There is also static since he is just code. Here it is. "100 days of making a jingle for every FNAF animatronic." Day 77. Glamrock Freddy. Security breach is here. Starting with Glamrock Freddy, I tried to recreate the beginning part of the opening song as best I could with the electric guitar, synth, cymbals, and drums. Here it is. "100 days of making a jingle for every FNAF animatronic." Day 78. Glamrock Chica. Keeping with the electric guitar and synth for the Glamrock animatronics, I tried to make the electric guitar sound like Chica's voice box when fully functional, as well as when she doesn't have it anymore. Here it is. 100 days of making a jingle for every FNAF animatronic. Day 79. Monty. Monty's jingle doesn't sound good. It is 300 BPM and way too many notes playing all at once. I did this for 2 reasons. First, Monty gets by far the most destroyed throughout the game, so I wanted it to sound progressively worse. Second, the ever-layering electric guitar notes are meant to be Monty basically trying to show off that he is cool and able to play all these notes at once even though it sounds bad, since he is also the most overtly antagonistic animatronic. Here it is. "100 days of making a jingle for every FNAF animatronic." Day 80. Roxy. I wanted Roxy's jingle to sound somewhat like a racing game song. I used electric guitar and synth as I did with all the Glamrocks. Here it is. 100 days of making a jingle for every FNAF animatronic. Day 81. Staff Bot. I used the same instruments from Helpy's Jingle for the Staff Bot because I wanted a similar vibe for them. Here it is. "100 days of making a jingle for every FNAF animatronic. Day 82. Map Bot. It is the same jingle as the Staff Bot, except there is a really loud cymbal crash at the start since Map Bot is a very jarring jump scare. There is also a reverse crash symbol at the end to represent how he just disappears afterwards. Here it is. "100 days of making a jingle for every FNAF animatronic. Day 83. Sun. For Sun's theme I recreated the daycare theme and suited it for a short jingle. Here it is. "100 days of making a jingle for every FNAF animatronic. Day 84. Moon. Moon's jingle is the same as Sun's jingle, but everything is reversed and the pitch is constantly low a ring. Here it is. "100 days of making a jingle for every FNAF animatronic. Day 84. Endos. I waited until security breach to cover the endoskeletons since they play the biggest role here. For the jingle, I have a synth play some notes before stopping instantly similar to how they stop when you look at them. While they are stopped it plays click sounds like a timer waiting for you to turn your back. Here it is. "100 days of making a jingle for every FNAF animatronic. Day 86. Mini Music Man. Before I start, I need to get something out of the way. I will not be making a jingle for DJ Music Man. He already has a perfected theme during his chase sequence, and I am not gonna even attempt to replicate its greatness, so go listen to it elsewhere instead. As for Mini Music Man, it used tiny cymbal sounds as well as other little sound effects to make it feel like a wind-up toy. Here it is. "100 days of making a jingle for every FNAF animatronic. Day 87. Vanny. For Vanny's theme, I took Glitch Trap's theme and altered it a bit since she is basically possessed by him. I also added whistling to make it more human since that's what Vanny is. Here it is. "100 days of making a jingle for every FNAF animatronic. Day 88. The Blob. The Blob is a tragic animatronic, and as such I made its jingle tragic too with sad piano and violin, as well as music box, since that is a consistent instrument for a lot of important animatronics. Here it is. "100 days of making a jingle for every FNAF animatronic. Day 89. Burn Trap. How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man? It is Springtrap's theme with a record filter over it and fire sounds. I also make the record spin down to symbolize hopefully this being his last appearance. Here it is. 100 days of making a jingle for every FNAF animatronic. Day 90, Eclipse. Now we move on to the Ruin DLC. Starting with Eclipse, I literally just layered Sun and Moon's jingles on top of one another, like an eclipse. Here it is. "100 days of making a jingle for every FNAF animatronic." Day 91, Ruined Monty. Monty has been absolutely destroyed, and as such his already bad jingle gets even worse. The max speed for the tempo is 500 BPM and the minimum is 5 BPM. It randomly changes tempo, and the pitch tunes randomly too. Here it is. "100 days of making a jingle for every FNAF animatronic." Day 92, Ruin Chica. It is Glamrock Chica's jingle, but it detunes dramatically, and I added a gross organic ambience for her gross organic thingies. Here it is. "100 days of making a jingle for every FNAF animatronic." Day 93, Ruined Freddy. It is the same as Glamrock Freddy's jingle with a few differences. It detunes dramatically, and it increases in speed dramatically since he has the most intense chase sequence. I also thought it looked funny the way the cymbal samples would stretch with the tempo. Here it is. 100 days of making a jingle for every FNAF animatronic. Day 94, Ruined Roxy. Ruined Roxy's jingle doesn't become as messy as the others because she isn't as destroyed. She gets a more emotional story here, and as such I made her jingle the same as original Roxy's but sadder, and replaced the synth with piano. Here it is. 100 days of making a jingle for every FNAF animatronic. Day 95, The Entity. I gave the entity a loud electrical buzz and a lot of clipping noises to symbolize the way he teleports closer to you in the mask world. There is also a square wave since he is a digital thing. Here it is. 100 days of making a jingle for every FNAF animatronic. Day 96, Jacko Moon. It's the daycare theme with fire and detunes. Here it is. "100 days of making a jingle for every FNAF animatronic." Day 97, Ruined DJ Music Man. This jingle was really easy to make. What I did was basically just play his Help Wanted to minigame and put 5 sequences together to make something that sounds decent. Here it is. "100 days of making a jingle for every FNAF animatronic." Day 98. Carney. The Carney is the heckler in the Phaser Blast levels in Help Wanted 2. I made his jingle the funny circus song. Here it is. 100 days of making a jingle for every FNAF animatronic. Day 99. Mystic Hippo. We are almost there. For Mystic Hippo's jingle, I used the beginning part of Mr. Hippo's jingle and added the mediocre melody's signature banjo in a somewhat magical way reminiscent of how I used it for Orville Elephant. Here it is. "100 days of making a jingle for every FNAF animatronic." Day 100. Finale. The Mimic. Here it is, the final jingle. I saved the Mimic for last even though it went slightly out of order from the games, because I think the Mimic is shaping up to be one of the major villains for future games. Also, if everything went according to plan, this should come out on my birthday. This is another full-length song, akin to Mr. Hippo's jingle, since I wanted this final jingle to be spectacular. I tried very hard to make this jingle represent the Mimic, and here is how. Many of the instruments I used reference a different animatronic in some way. I did this because the whole point of the Mimic is that it can copy anything. The other thing I did was include leitmotifs from various important animatronics that I will show during the song. The main instrument in the melody is electric guitar to represent all the security breach animatronics, since that is where the Mimic is first encountered. The counter line uses the same instrument as the Sun and Moon jingles, since the Mimic's design resembles them a lot, specifically with its teeth. The instrument used for the motifs was a music box, since it represents so many important animatronics. The song starts and ends with a rising choir representing how the Mimic can emulate human speech. There is also bass guitar and percussion to make it more complete. I am very excited for you to hear it. I will also post a version without this long intro later for easier listening. Here it is.